Money should be a tool to make life easier. But for many people, it's become a burden. A burden to maintain status. A burden to pay for the past. A burden to sustain a routine that no longer makes sense. The truth is, money was never the real problem. The problem has always been the way we relate to it. When you use money to buy control, it charges you in anxiety. But when you learn to use it with purpose, it gives you back what's most valuable: peace of mind. Living lightly isn't about having more, it's about having clarity. It's about using money as a tool for freedom, not as a measure of personal worth. Today, we're ranking the 10 ways to use money to live with lightness. Those subtle yet powerful choices that turn money from a villain into an ally, and teach you that to prosper isn't to accumulate, but to breathe with space. So go ahead and hit that like button, because today's video isn't about getting rich, it's about simplifying life. 10. Use money to buy time. Not things. The first way to live lightly is to understand that time is your most valuable asset, and money only makes sense if it gives some of it back. It makes no sense to work to pay for things that keep you from living the life you actually want. Pay someone to clean the house, order delivery instead of wasting hours in traffic, invest in something that saves you time. These all have value if they give you presents. But if you use money to accumulate objects and end up losing time maintaining them, you're paying a high price to be a slave to your own comfort. Money exists to buy free time, not to fill the time you no longer have. 9. Separate need from ego. Most financial lightness comes from disarming the ego. The ego is the biggest spender alive. It wants to be seen, admired, validated, and it convinces you that you need all of that to be happy. But the ego doesn't chase comfort, it chases comparison. And while you try to prove yourself, your money disappears, without leaving purpose behind. Using money with lightness means asking, does this truly improve my life, or just my reflection in someone else's mirror? When money stops feeding vanity and starts nurturing peace, it stops leaking and starts flowing. What comes from the ego weighs you down. What comes from the soul lifts you up. Money only brings lightness when it serves the latter. 8. Make money flow with purpose. Idle money doesn't bring peace, it brings worry. But money that flows with awareness creates movement, meaning, and impact. Using money purposefully means understanding that it only gains value when it fulfills a role. Helping someone, supporting a project, improving the space around you. It's not about giving everything away, it's about letting money breathe. When you spend with purpose, paying stops hurting. You no longer feel guilty for investing in something that represents your values. And little by little, you realize that money is neutral energy. It amplifies who you already are. Light money is the kind that moves freely and without guilt, because it flows toward what truly matters. 7. Build a calm fund, not an emergency fund. Most people save money out of fear. What if something goes wrong? But that mindset creates a tense relationship with your own money. You save driven by anxiety, not by freedom. Switching from an emergency fund to a calm fund changes everything. It's not about predicting disasters, it's about guaranteeing peace. It's knowing that if something does happen, you don't need to panic. That money isn't there to save you, it's there to protect you from rushing. Money saved out of fear traps you. Money saved in peace sets you free. 6. Learn to spend without guilt. Guilt is the emotional tax we pay for never having learned how to allow ourselves joy. Many people live in a cycle of extremes. Either they overspend and regret it, or they oversave and feel frustrated. Neither brings lightness. Spending without guilt means spending with awareness. It's looking at a purchase and asking, does this bring me closer to what I want to feel, or just fill a void? When you have clarity, money becomes an expression, not compensation. Guilt appears when spending is impulsive. But when it's born from purpose, it becomes peaceful pleasure. The secret is simple. Spend on what expands you, not on what numbs you. Well-spent money is the kind you never need to justify, to anyone, not even to yourself. 5. Create a light financial routine. Lightness doesn't come from earning more, it comes from having rhythm. Knowing when money comes in, when it goes out, and not needing to think about it every second. It's the opposite of financial anxiety, that constant fear that your money will disappear the moment you stop looking. A light financial routine is when you organize the basics and let the rest flow. Set fixed dates to review expenses, automate what you can, and stop treating money like an enemy to be watched. The goal isn't to control money, it's to create peaceful maintenance. That happens when you realize organization isn't rigidity, it's self-care. Those who master the flow of money discover that lightness isn't lack of control, it's control without weight. 4. Turn financial goals into life goals. Most people spend their lives chasing numbers. Save X, invest Y, earn Z. But lightness doesn't come from numerical goals, it comes from meaningful ones. When you turn your financial goals into life goals, money stops being the end and becomes the means. You don't save just to save, you save to create options. To say yes to what matters and no to what drains you. That shift in perspective is liberating. Because goals rooted in values don't demand speed, they demand coherence. And when money has purpose, it stops feeling heavy. Financial lightness is when your bank balance reflects what you believe in, not what others expect of you. 3. Use money to get closer to people, not things. Much of financial anxiety comes from loneliness disguised as consumption. You buy to distract yourself, to fill silence, to prove you're doing fine. But deep down, what's missing isn't a new object, it's connection. Using money with lightness means spending to strengthen bonds, not to mask emptiness. It's investing in shared experiences, simple moments, and relationships that remind you that prosperity means having someone to share the road with. The joy of a good conversation yields better returns than any investment. And the emotional dividend of belonging is what truly lets you sleep in peace. Well-used money is the kind that buys presence, not appearance. 2. Choose simplicity as a form of wealth. Financial lightness doesn't come when you have everything. It comes when you realize you don't need everything. Simplicity is the most underrated strategy for prosperity. It's not lack, it's focus. When you choose simplicity, you reduce noise, distractions, and automatic consumption. You start seeking quality, not quantity. And the money you save isn't just financial, it's mental. Simplicity gives money the space to return to its original purpose, sustaining what's essential. Everything else is just noise disguised as necessity. Wealth isn't how much you accumulate, it's how well you live with less. 1. Use money to build tranquility, not power. The true use of money is quiet. It doesn't need to be shown, measured, or admired. It only needs to give you peace. Power without peace is vanity. But peace with purpose is freedom. The money that buys tranquility is the kind used to build a life with rhythm, space, and presence, where you work without being enslaved, spend without debt, and dream without losing yourself. That's the highest stage of financial intelligence. When money stops being a source of worry and becomes the means to sustain what truly matters. Money feels light when it's used to support you, not to impress others. In the end, money is just a reflection of the way you live. It amplifies what already exists within you. If there's peace, it expands it. If there's confusion, it multiplies the chaos. Using money lightly isn't about spending less or accumulating more. It's about understanding that the real value of things isn't in their price, it's in their impact on your serenity. It's realizing that true wealth isn't having enough to buy whatever you want, but having enough clarity to not want what you don't need. Lightness happens when money stops being noise and becomes a tool again. When every expense carries intention, and every choice represents freedom, not obligation. Because in the end, money is just energy in motion. It goes, it returns, it changes shape. But the peace of someone who's learned to handle it consciously, that no one can take away. The smartest use of money is the one that sustains your lightness, not your burden.